Hello, I'm Average Joe. Uh, so you remember, like, the last two episodes when I used this little bucket fill tool? I had some issues? Well, I fixed it. Right. So essentially what I did is I took, let's grab these. So I took the tool settings I made for the fill tool, which the bucket tool also used, and completely redid them. It will now give different settings based on what you're holding in your offhand. So if I grab some stairs really quick, just hit F, and I check out the tool settings, you can see that it's got settings for facing, half, shape, waterlogged, unlike the log, which only had the axis. So the reason everything was going wrong and doing that weird thing was because the macro I used to do all of the fill was it was adding these little additional things that didn't apply to the block being placed. So the macro didn't work and didn't place any blocks, and because of the way the bucket fill works, it was just continuously laying itself down. So that is fixed. And that's going to be a little theme for today, because today it's tool time. So yeah, this entire episode is going to be about upgrading the tools that I use for making this map. I have redone fill. I actually also did a change for the selection tools. So you know how it makes these like armor stands here? And also these particles here? Both of those are important to note. So these particles represent the X and the Z axis. Y is up and down, obviously. And when I made these armor stands that chunk load the area that the selection is in, it would always base off of where the first little point was made. And when I selected things backwards like that, it would make the armor stands out there rather than in the selection. I fixed that. All I had to do was just run the function that did the whole armor stand thing one tick after the initial function was done. So that works too. What I want to work on today, mainly, is that one thing I showed at the end of, I think it was the first episode I did, where I was talking about how I keep getting really distracted by my little tools. And I showed off this big super clone thing, and that was broken. It actually stopped running after so many blocks were placed. And it turns out that was because too many functions were running. I guess when you say execute a command from an entity, each of those entities loads their commands into the script, because Minecraft's commands are basically single-threaded, so they will layer all of their commands one at a time, one after each other. So running things from as entities will make each of those entities add that function to the list. I don't know if this is getting too technical or not. It might be getting too technical. Long story short, doing the cloning a single block at a time was a bad idea and overloaded the system, because Minecraft only lets you run like 64,000 commands at once, and I was exceeding that with that superclone function. So, the plan today is to make a superclone function that will work on any sized objects. Although I think I might have to figure out how to do loading of the place we're cloning to. And the way I'm going to do that is basically the way superclone works now, but it's going to require some changes. Specifically, I want it to clone, instead of a single block at a time, a 16 by 16 area, which is going to have to be reduced at the end, in case, you know, the selection is not divisible by 16 in, like, any direction, up, down, x, y, x, negative y. Although y is up and down, I meant z. You know what I mean. I've been thinking about this a couple weeks now. I have an idea on how to do it, but I'm not 100% sure where to start. Okay, so it's been a week, and I'm having some trouble with this. So to start with, I've decided to go from, well, I have this cube showing how high I can go with a 16 by 16 selection. And you notice it goes pretty high, but it doesn't, like, I don't think I'll ever have something to clone that'd be like this tall, because that's a lot. That is quite a bit. But there still may be a case where I gotta clone something that's taller than that. So instead of doing 16 by 16 areas, I've decided to go with 8 by 8, because that literally just goes from bottom height limit to top height limit. I can just don't have to worry about height with that. I can just do 8 by 8 and that'll solve all the issues. At least with the height. What I'm actually having a problem with is getting everything to work. I've written up all of the code for this super clone thing to work, and for some reason it's just not. So if I make just a selection here, and I run the super clone setup, it runs, and then just keeps going. It didn't even clone anything, so I'm not entirely sure what the issue is here. And you can probably notice that there's still an armor stand out here that has that on there, and if I actually do a kill command, there is one out there somewhere. So armor stands that should be deleting themselves are not deleting themselves, and I don't know why. Okay, it has been significantly less time since the last cut, and I actually have all of my problems solved. Everything is working just fine now. Right, so what happened was two very important things. First is that the file path for the function I was using, I had it written down incorrectly. The one I had written down in the function for the actual cloning operations was not the right path. The other thing that I did wrong, and the reason all of the armor stands were just flying away, was that so to do subtraction in this game for scoreboards, you kind of sometimes have to actually give the... Look, I just wasn't doing the subtraction. I was... Come to think of it, the way I do the subtraction in the function for all of this is incredibly redundant? Hold on, let me check something really quick. Yeah, no, there's definitely some optimization left I can do for this. But I want to see this in action. So, I'm going all the way over here and making sure my little indicators are over there. And if I just do super clone setup. Ah! Wow, it worked! I mean, obviously not everything is over here, like, yeah, I missed a little bit there. But yeah, no, super clone works. I can copy massive areas. Ah, come to think of it, you know what else would be useful? Specifically to help clean this up would be a way to fill large areas with blocks. Right. Well, I will get started on that. Because I'm not going to take half an hour to clean this up. Okay, so I think I got the superfill function basically done. All I really need to do is just select all of the area here, and also let all of the, what's it called? The chunk loaders actually, finish chunk loading things. It takes a while, not gonna lie. Especially with larger areas. But if I run setup superfill, with nothing in my offhand, it should just fill this area with air. So whoa. Okay, so it didn't work. That's fine. But we don't have armor stands floating off all over the place, so it's okay. I just need to figure out why the fill command didn't work, which should be easy. Okay, so what happened was I had been doing some optimizing for the commands for superclone, and I thought I could optimize something, and I was very incorrect. So if I had tested superclone, that wouldn't have worked either. But now that everything is fully fixed up, I should be able to just get this set up, and everything should operate normally. Just need to wait for all of the chunk loading to fill in. And I'm actually going to test this with warped planks, because I am nothing if not a madman. Okay. Stay out of the way to make sure that we're not stuck in the block. And then superfill still didn't work. Is that because I did not reload? Yeah, it's because I didn't reload. Alright. That's unfortunate. Okay. So we've got our selection. And so all I've got to do is run superfill setup, and it still didn't work. Why didn't it work? Okay, so we should get the big sweeping thing now when I run the setup. But we're still not getting the fill command. And I'm not sure why. Unfortunately, I can't work on it anymore today, so I'm gonna have to come back to this tomorrow. If I make any progress on it, I'll let you guys know, but I will see you in a second. Well, a second for you. It's gonna be like another week for me, considering how this project's been going so far. Okay, look, I know I said I was gonna, like, stop recording for today and bring you back, like, the next day when I actually got everything done, or, like, in a week when I actually have time to record again, but I think I have figured out what the problem was, and I wanted to do the first test on camera, so here I am, getting everything together, setting everything up, and once the chunk loading is done, I am going to run the commands, and I actually need to dig it out of the files because I was actually going through the issue file step by step to see what the problem was, and I found it. I was running things from an armor stand that doesn't exist because this function does things differently than the copy function. Still doesn't fill. Fantastic. Is it because I didn't reload? It's absolutely because I didn't reload. Great! I do that way too often. Okay, actually did the reload now. Everything is chunk loaded. Now I can do the and there it goes. Finally, I got it to work. Alright, now let's do that again and actually clear it out of all the blocks. Fantastic. Perfect. Look at that. Okay, well, I missed a couple things, but it's fine. It's perfectly fine. These can just be cleared off with the regular fill command. I am so happy. Everything is done. I can clear up big mistakes so quickly now. And where did everything go? Okay. There's that, and there are these. Okay. Okay. Right. I think maybe I should use the superfill and the superclone commands very sparingly, because I don't think blocks are supposed to jump in and out of existence like that. But that is done. There is one more tool I want to make. I don't know if I'm gonna have time this month to do it. I've gone back to school. I still have a full-time job. It's just so much on my plate at the moment, but I'm trying to do my best. So if I don't have time to get it done after this clip, I will just do an outro for you guys. Well, regretfully, I don't really have time for anything else in this episode. If I want to get this out by the end of the month, then I need to start editing now. I wasn't kidding when I said that the amount of time I have to actually do anything with, like, videos or, you know, building and stuff has been basically cut in half. So for now, I'm just gonna leave it here. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, and if you want to see more of this, go ahead and subscribe. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. See ya.